Welcome to Noir. In this video, you're gonna learn how to play this most moody of storytelling games. Noir is a game for 3 to 6 players. To start with, nominate one of those players as the judge. The others are all detectives for this round. The judge shuffles all the cards and deals 3 to each player, including themselves. From the back of the cards, the judge chooses one character to be the killer. In this case, the doctor, and another character to be the victim, the tycoon. They lay them on a table, showing the detectives which is which. The players each now have to concoct a story of how the murder happened. When they do this, they must use the means of killing from one of the 3 cards in their hand, a motive from one of the other cards, and the opportunity from the remaining card. This can be harder than you think, so they gotta get creative. Let's see what the first player has to say for themselves.
Okay, Judge, this is how it happened. There were 2 brothers, a tycoon and a doctor. But the doctor was insane. And the reason why he was insane was because of their family upbringing. The mother and the father, well, they were a bit kooky, they were a bit strange, they were very eccentric. And they doted on this doctor, their firstborn. And they were kind of neglectful of the tycoon. And the tycoon, well, he drifted away from the rest of the family, never really seeing them again. But he created this vast network of pudding factories. He loved his desserts. And so he was just merrily going along his day, when unfortunately the doctor, over years of bitterness and spite, concocted revenge on his brother, because his brother had made a fortune and never gave his family a penny. Well, that was the downfall for the tycoon, because one day the doctor, bent on revenge, had a gun with him. And he thought, well, I could poison him, I could, syringe him. But it'd be too obvious, I would be known, I'd be implicated. Now, one day, the tycoon was working late in his pudding factory, and he was up in his office when he heard a noise, and it was his brother. He was startled, but he thought, oh, maybe they've come to reconciliate. And so he offered him a drink, and they started to chat about their family life. So the doctor, because he was insane and he wanted this revenge, pulled out a gun and shot the tycoon right in the forehead. And the tycoon went through the window, because it was on the first floor of his office, and tumbled all the way down to a big vat of trifle. It was terrible, and therefore he had died. And the doctor, well, it was more a revenge killing, but really, ultimately, it was insanity. And that is how it happened.
After each story, the other players get to ask one question in cross-examination.
Wait. That's how it happened. So you're telling me there is an individual out there who owns a chain of pudding factories and just loves his pudding.
Yes.
Yet is somehow his entire industry is sweetness. Yet he's so bitter he didn't give his family a penny. How does that work?
Well, I can see where you're going with that, Judge, but he tried several attempts to contact them over the years, but because the family were pretty much, the rest of the family were quite insane, they kept rebutting them until they realised that they were running out of money themselves, because they had hit hard times. And therefore, eventually, you can only get the door slammed in your face so often before you just go, oh, well, and you give up. And so he stopped giving up. And, it was a sad day for him when he actually lost total contact with the rest of his family.
Okay.
Now, the next player gets their chance to tell a better story, and so on, until all the detectives have spoken and been cross-examined.
So, the story is that Tycoon Ted knew the doctor for quite a while. So, Tycoon Ted had been going on there for his weekly checkups, monthly checkups. He's quite stressed, so he goes for a prescription, he goes for a note to go to a psychiatrist, so he's been going there for years. And one day he was sitting there in the waiting room, he was asked to wait for a little bit longer, and he overheard the conversation that the doctor had with his friend or colleague, which is a bit unknown, and it was a bit scary. So the conversation he had was more about drugs and how to transport those drugs in other people's bodies, how to get the extra money, because the doctor was really honest all his life, he's been great, and he thought he wants to live his life now. He's not going to have enough money for the retirement. So the tycoon, though he was quite wealthy and rich, but made his money really honestly, decided that he will confront the doctor. So he left early and ran towards the court of justice. The doctor noticed that he's not there and realized that he might have overheard the conversation. The doctor ran after Ted, the tycoon, towards the justice court when he wanted to confront him, and stabbed him in the back to make sure that nothing's been said and he could proceed with his drug deals before and later.
And again, there's the cross-examination.
Okay, I've got just one question. The doctor thinks that the tycoon must have overheard him, so he immediately runs out and stabs him in the back? Surely the doctor has patients run out on him all the time. How many other people has he killed just to hide this secret?
Where do you think he hides the drugs?
So none of that actually happened. This is how it really did. The tycoon and the doctor? Bit of a long story, but I'll cut to the chase. There were two of them starting a business together. Doctor and the tycoon. Makes sense. He takes care of the medical side. Tycoon takes care of the business. It was going well. Tycoon was getting all the money. The doctor wasn't. Always playing second fiddle to his business deals, and he would get all the girls and the boats. Doctor gets left in the shade. So he thought he'd take matters into his own hands. Tycoon can't have all the fun, can't take all the money, so why not? So conducted a little plan to get back at him and take control of the empire, really, as it were. So the two of them together at their gala dinner after the press conference. All goes well. Doctor and the tycoon celebrating together as friends. What better opportunity is there than that, to spike his drink with a little bit of poison? Wouldn't know the difference between the taste of normal champagne and dab with poison in it. Next thing you know, newspaper the next day, tycoon's dead. Doctor inherits all the money.
Okay, so the doctor poisons his best friend over money. He's a man of ethics, okay? He's taken a Hippocratic oath. What does the doctor plan to do with all this money now he's murdered his friend?
Take all the women and yachts.
So, my story, or the event that happened, is the tale of two brothers. Now, as you probably already know, there was one doctor involved and basically one tycoon. Now, these two brothers obviously have been living with each other, since as long as they could remember, and in early childhood they've always had a really good relationship. Now, their parents, being quite socialised themselves, encouraged sibling rivalry. When they died, rather than pay both children equally out of their will, they actually chose to favour the tycoon rather than the doctor. Understandably, probably, the doctor didn't take it particularly well. Now, the doctor decided that he was not getting his due and that he would retrieve that at any cost. So the way that he did this is he took a significant proportion of medication that should not be given to anyone with a heart condition, and he laced his brother's favourite dish, which was a trifle, which came out at the end of every Friday night dinner. Now, the doctor knows that his brother has always been a complete pig. So what he does is he picks the best side of the trifle, the one with all of the, like the sponge fingers and a little bit extra cream and all that kind of good stuff, and he takes one of those metal wedges that you get for, basically shoveling stuff out of the oven, and he just kind of lifts it a little bit, and then shuffles all of those little all the pills and all kind of good stuff that he's crushed up, and he makes like a fine layer under there, and his brother with his weak heart and his gluttonous appetite ate the whole thing.
Okay, I'm buying it.
After all the detectives had told their story, the judge must choose the best. This is based on whatever they like. Could be realism, intelligence, humor, performance, whatever. And that, as they say, is that. So get playing and tell some stories. Just don't expect them to have a happy ending. So who do you think won? Was it the dastardly doctor going psycho in the pudding factory? Was it Tycoon Ted and drug smuggling body snatchers? Or a case of poison champagne for women, yachts, and glory? Or finally, do you think it was the tale of two brothers that was the best? Today, you be the judge, and let us know in the comments.